All right, a very big welcome to you, my dear viewers and listeners from all over the world. Thank you for joining me on another great episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Rampaging gunmen kill one, abduct Catholic priest, and many others in Kaduna. Now, from Kaduna to Taraba, I showed you a protest that was going on in Taraba this morning as a result of terrorist attacks on their communities. Go to Kwara State, the story is the same. Benue State, the story is the same. Plateau State, Kwara, Southwest, Southeast, all over Nigeria, nowhere is safe. If you know what is going on in the bushes on the way to Kogi State, that is the Abuja Kogi Road, right now, you will shed tears for those who are planning to travel on that road during this festive period. But amidst all these, the Tinubu administration is even very happy. All they care about is the 2027 presidential election. What a disgrace. The country has become a laughing stock of the entire world, and it can only get worse. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming from the Nigerian Bar Association. They made a statement that some people have come out to commend, but on my own part, I feel that they should even do more. And next is that big one coming out of the USA. Tinubu completely disgraced by the US media as they called him a liar, labeling his statement completely false and saying he is complicit in the killings of Nigerians. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you this video.
Is your chairman recognized by INEC?
Yes, he is. He is recognized by INEC because it's a legal issue. You should report what is on the ground. It's a creation of one man called Wike, who thinks that he can continue to pollute the political space by showing gangarism, animism, and hooliganism and charlatanism. And by so doing, he is not helping even the present administration.
Sir,
Excuse me, madam, let me talk. You have asked me a question. You don't want me to say things. Then you can go. I'm talking about what is causing all this. We should go by the rule. Arrogance and impunity. You see, we were going, the access to go, they will go, but the police are sneaking people in. This is our secretariat. If they want to say they have a so-called faction, they should go somewhere. All the governors are here. All the senators, all the members of the House of Reps. Why is the media backing them as if they have something in common with us? The police should know that this is not a faction. It is just a splinter group. They want to scuttle and destroy PDP, destroy the opposition, and by so doing, destroy democracy in Nigeria.
So the question I was going to ask you is that the other group are insisting that as it stands now, Senator Tanimu Turaki's name is not with INEC. Barrister Tanimu Turaki's name is not with INEC.
That is their own feeling because they are illiterates. They are driven by arrogance and illiteracy and impunity, by impulse. They believe whatever their bosses in media, press, that is what it goes even into their narration. We are driven by law and by system. So Tanimu Turaki, after the convention, there is a report. We have already sent all the reports to INEC. INEC is not obliged or forced to attend any convention of any political party. Have you ever seen APC doing any convention? Did you ask them? But they have leaders, and they are recognized by INEC. Why must we be the only person that you assess? Please, sir, you should be able to be fair.
Yes, sir. Sir, I mean, just one question, sir. You were at that convention on Saturday, and there were challenges. Nigerians were worried that they did not see INEC monitor the processes of that election. Can you speak to us about that?
Yes. The Constitution does not force them to be there, but we must give them notice. We get them notice, and they accept it and acknowledge. We have the acknowledgement that they got the notice. If they decide not to come, that is their own free volition. But certainly we have documents that we have notified them duly, and they accepted.
Okay. So
the convention is legal because all the court orders have been set aside by the appellant courts, because we have already made a plea and it has been put aside. So people should know the process of our legal system.
So where do you see this ending? Should the wicked group not back down, and you are not backing down? Where do you see this ending?
No, they are just being supported, and then by the police, and you, the media too. You don't tell them the truth, but they should know that it has come to an end. That's an end of hooliganism. You know, they should go and leave us alone. Must we be with us? This man, why is he working? Is he not working with APC? Why didn't you ask him? Is it moral for him to say that he will be in APC to destroy us?
You saw that. That was Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Muhammad, speaking there after the disgraceful episode at the Wadata Plaza today with the Nyesom Wike and his thugs. Police were tear-gassing everybody, tear-gassing the governors and even Wike himself. What a disgrace. Tomorrow they will come and say it's Peter Obi that is demarketing Nigeria. But look at what Wike brought his thugs to do at Wadata Plaza today. And for me, the PDP actually left this for too long. This is the kind of approach they should have used with Nyesom Wike from the very beginning. This man has been working with Tinubu and the APC for so long. Why did the PDP leave it this late before they did what they did? I don't know how they are going to rescue that party back. As it stands, many Nigerians believe that the party is done for. And I like the approach that Bala Muhammad was using with that journalist there, because they often say that journalism, you have to be neutral. It also has to do with seeking out the truth. No journalist has been able to really face Wike and ask him that question. You cannot be working with the APC and you still say you are a member of the PDP. There is nothing more anti-party than that. And once you carry out anti-party activities, you are due for expulsion from a party. But you find these journalists romancing him. They cannot really ask him that question. And that is why Bala was saying to that journalist there, why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask the real questions? Anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how this episode between Nyesom Wike and the PDP chieftains play out. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that one coming out of the Nigerian Bar Association, and next is that very disgraceful one. The US media completely humiliated Tinubu, calling him a liar, read out his statement and said he is full of falsehood and that he is complicit in the killings in Nigeria. Let's start by taking that update from the NBA. Look at how the papers reported it. Enough is enough. Nigerian Bar Association condemns terrorist abduction of schoolgirls, demands security overhaul. The Nigerian Bar Association has condemned the escalating wave of terrorist attacks and mass killings across the nation, declaring that enough is enough and calling for immediate and sweeping reforms to Nigeria's broken security system. The outrage comes after terrorists in the early hours of Monday, November 17, stormed the government girls' comprehensive secondary school in Maga, Kebbi State. They killed a brave teacher defending his students and abducted at least 25 schoolgirls from their hostels after a fierce gun battle with security forces. The NBA said in a statement signed by its president, Maziafa Mosigwe-San, and General Secretary Dr. Mobolaji Ojibara, said that the despicable act was not committed in the shadows or in isolation. It happened in a country where impunity has become habitual and national tragedies have become background noise. The Nigerian Bar Association declares without hesitation, enough is enough. Well, will you talk to your judges too? The Nigerian Bar Association, are you going to speak with your judges too? Because whenever election cases come, your judges take bribe and they pervert judgment. In fact, your judges are top on the list of reasons why Nigeria is where it is today. There were clear provisions of the Constitution that would have overturned that announcement, that fraudulent announcement by Professor Mahmoud Yakubu in the dead of the night. But what did your judges do? They endorsed it. They began insulting people who dared to come to court, telling them that they could not prove, insulted them in the judgment. I've never heard that kind of judgment before. Very one-sided, very rude and derogatory, as if it was a crime that Peter Obi and Atiku came to court. Now we are all suffering it. Nobody is safe. But I pray that me, myself, And all those who are on the path of good, my subscribers and everybody who is on the path of good in this country, may God keep us safe in this period of trial. Those who are supporting APC and the APC officials themselves, I do not care about you. If at this point there are people who are still supporting APC, then whatever the APC's misrule dishes out to them, they should take it in good faith. And just as Nigerians were yet reacting to that video from the US media began making the rounds. A very disgraceful video for Nigeria, to say the least. Take a look.
I want to read something from Nigeria's president. He says the characterization of Nigeria as religiously intolerant doesn't reflect our national reality. Religious freedom and tolerance have been a core tenet of our collective identity and shall always remain so. Nigeria opposes religious persecution and does not encourage it. He says the picture we're getting here is not accurate.
You know, unfortunately, that is completely false. I mean, there are states in Nigeria that have blasphemy laws, people who are facing the death penalty right now for blasphemy against Islam. There's a person currently right now who's held in prison for defending himself from attack from a Muslim militant from the Fulani tribe. He defended himself, and he's facing the death penalty. So, no, there's serious persecution happening in Nigeria. I know the president, Tinubu, is in a difficult position and trying to protect his interests there in that country, but they are complicit in this to one degree or another with statements like this.
You saw that. They read out the statement that Tinubu put out there saying that in Nigeria there is religious tolerance, we coexist peacefully, and the claims of Christian genocide is false. You know what we do in Nigeria is that we have absolutely no respect for words. When something happens, your media person will just carry his pen, like two of them will sit down and draft something very beautiful, something very, very touching, and just put it out there. They don't care if that thing is completely opposite of who you are. They don't care if you have done several things in the past that clearly contradict what they have written. They don't care if you are on a path presently that clearly contradicts that thing that you have written. They will just put it out there. Because if Tinubu had said, yes, we have some issues, but we are working around them, we are trying our best, and we are improving, it would have been different. But he painted a picture of a perfect society where there are no issues of religion. Then the man said it is completely false. And he began pointing out real issues, including Samuel Jackson, a man who has been sentenced to death for defending himself. This man was attacked by two Fulani headsmen on his own farm. And he said his family was there, that he may have even run away, but because his daughter and his wife, and then I think his son too, were around, so he had to stand up to the defense. And he took out these two men. Today, he is the one being sentenced to death in the same country where you say there is religious tolerance. Deborah was lynched by her classmates in Sokoto. They said she blasphemed the prophet. A crime, something that is not a crime in the Nigerian constitution. Nothing happened. As a matter of fact, police actually arrested some of the boys. But you know what happened? Some Muslims turned up to the police station and said, if you don't release them immediately, we will burn down you and the police station. There were so many. Police had no choice than to release the boys they arrested. This is the same nation that you are talking about religious tolerance. Nation where there is another constitution. Inside that constitution, there is blasphemy. Then they have the Hisbah police. Hisbah police will come to your shop, pick out some things that you are selling in your own shop that is against the tenets of Islam. They will pick them out, destroy them. You will be very lucky if it is only those things they destroy and they go, if they don't pick you up. How about the case of the woman who was beheaded? She was beheaded because she told those who were performing ablution to just, shift to the other side from the front of her shop, that the water was collecting too much in front of her shop. They should just shift away a bit. The woman ended up losing her head. This is the country that you are writing that there is religious tolerance. How about the Muslim ticket that you yourself went for? That is one of the greatest proofs. In fact, you have nothing to say after you have done that. A multi-religious society like Nigeria, you picked up a Muslim ticket. Why did you do it? Because you tell us that the Muslim voters in the north will not vote for a Christian northerner. Does that show that there is religious tolerance? And you just disgraced yourself, because right here in front of the whole world, they brought out a statement that you made as the so-called president of a country, and they picked holes left, right, and center, called it false, called it a lie, and people from your country came under the statement to confirm that it was actually a lie. What a shame. And look at how Nigerians reacted. Let's take some of the tweet reactions. This tweet here says, sad that it takes foreign media to highlight Sunday Jackson's case. Nigerian outlets staying silent shows how much the government controls the narrative. Truth must be told. That is it. Nobody wants to talk about Samuel Jackson's case again. And this tweet here by the Enigma says, Arise TV, AIT Online, Channels TV, you guys won't show us this. Now politics bro, haha, una they show us. That is it. Why not put this video, this particular video everywhere? How Tinubu's statement was debunked by the Fox News. And this tweet here by K.O. Richard says, Boala Daniel needs a second round of media propaganda to convince the whole world otherwise, because the truth is unfolding. That is it. Everybody in the world knows what is happening in Nigeria, and no amount of media manipulation can save this administration. But then, are we going to eventually find help? Are we going to eventually get help from the international organization, US, Canada, Russia, any country, just to put an end to these killings? Or are we going to come to a point as a people where we will be able to unite and say enough is enough? These are questions that only time can answer. But sadly, we are running out of time, because every single day that passes, people drop, people's lives go. Oh my God, how are we going to get out of this? This remains a stage in our lives as a nation that will be talked about for many years to come, even after we get out of this. How is it going to end? When is it going to end? I cannot say. Only time will tell. Anyway, make I leave am here. Make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because now, because of una, I dey here. So don't go away. Don't go away.